Hey basketball guys, we have news. Let's go to more news from the Golden State Warriors, but before that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your. The Warriors are looking to make it to the Western Conference Finals without their biggest star, Stephen Curry. The Warriors have good young players who need more confidence and playing time to develop further. If the Lakers don't win the series against the Minnesota Timberwolves, many changes will be made to try to win another championship with Stephen Curry. A veteran star who is set to play his final season in the NBA also wants to be a champion, so bringing together Stephen Curry, Draymond Green and LeBron James, with several young players who are already growing up with the Warriors and signing a big center, could put the Warriors in a position to be a champion next season and then start rebuilding the team. LeBron James could decide to become a free agent and come play for the Warriors and form an elite big three with Stephen Curry and Draymond Green. The Golden State Warriors shouldn't feel great about their chances of reaching the Western Conference Finals. With Stephen Curry nursing a grade 1 hamstring strain and taking his time to recover fully, the organization is headed toward a second-round exit. Could the Warriors acquire a four-time NBA champion Los Angeles Lakers forward to improve their 2025-26 title odds? Sports Illustrated's Alex Kirschenbaum believes so. LeBron James has long been linked to Golden State, in part because his rivalry against Warriors stars Stephen Curry and Draymond Green. They've played each other in 5 playoff series, during which James has gone 2-3, eventually blossomed into a bromance, Kirschenbaum wrote Friday. James would give his old rival some major frontcourt size, although a core of James, 37-year-old Curry, 35-year-old Jimmy Butler, and 34-year-old Green would be so old that their survival through 4 playoff rounds would come into question. Just this season, James, Curry, and Butler all suffered major injuries during the playoffs. In 2022, Curry stated that he was good when asked about potentially teaming up with James in the Bay. However, the sentiment may differ this summer, with both superstars wanting to end their careers with a bang and possessing skill sets that would make them an unstoppable duo. James and Curry have faced each other in the NBA Finals 4 times, with the latter boasting a 3-1 advantage. If the Warriors fall short in the postseason and don't love their roster entering free agency, James, who has a $52.6 million player option and didn't advance past the first round of the playoffs with the Lakers this year, could be a game-changing target for them this summer. Of course, it all depends on how the 21-time All-Star feels in the upcoming months. James' commitment to making things work with Luka Doncic in Los Angeles and proving the pair can win a title while competing in the toughest conference in the NBA would make it virtually impossible for the Warriors to land him. Still, it's fun to picture James in a Golden State uniform in his early 40s. Steve Kerr hints at new formula Warriors will use without Steph Curry. The Golden State Warriors are in survival mode with Steph Curry still sidelined due to injury. Curry injured his hamstring in Game 1 of the Warriors' second-round series against the Minnesota Timberwolves. The injury, which kept him out of Game 2, will likely keep him out of at least Games 3 and 4. With the Warriors desperate to defend their home court without their biggest star, Coach Steve Kerr singled out 2 players he hopes will be part of a winning formula for Golden State. "It's a completely different team," Kerr told reporters. "It's all about finding a new formula and Jonathan Kuminga is absolutely part of that formula. Tracy Jackson-Davis has shown he can be effective against this team." Kuminga barely saw action in the 2025 postseason as the Warriors dealt with injuries to key players. Jackson-Davis also played sparingly during the Warriors-Rockets series. But he proved useful when called upon. Another deal that could be made to bolster the Warriors roster. Warriors should swap Jonathan Kuminga for Dream $40 million Rockets forward, per writer. The Golden State Warriors may have to navigate the rest of the postseason without their star point guard, Stephen Curry. The 11-time All-Star was diagnosed with a grade 1 hamstring strain and will miss at least 1 week. However, Curry noted that hamstring injuries can be tricky, and for that lone reason, he isn't going to rush back to the hardwood. If the Warriors fail to defeat the Minnesota Timberwolves in the Western Conference semifinals, the franchise's roster will likely look different entering the 2025-26 campaign. Blue Man Hoops Peter O'Keefe predicts the Warriors will swap Jonathan Kuminga for a dream Houston Rockets forward. If there's even a small chance the Warriors could get in on trade discussions surrounding Jabari Smith, then they should take advantage, assuming they're ready to move on from a young forward of their own in Jonathan Kuminga, O'Keefe wrote Thursday. Smith would provide Golden State with the frontcourt spacing they need next to Draymond Green, while providing more rebounding, defense, and overall versatility than they currently get with Quinton Post. There's also the fact he was such a high pick and is still just 21 years old, suggesting there's more to Smith's game that may currently be hidden behind the plethora of talent currently in Houston. It might take multiple first-round picks to make it happen, but perhaps Smith could be available if the Rockets decided that he's the one young player they're happy not to pay going forward, having already given Jalen Green and Alperen Sengun big deals last October. Smith was rock solid with the Rockets this season. The third-year pro isn't the most athletic wing in the NBA, but his fluidity off the dribble and low-risk offensive approach make him an intriguing young project. Smith averaged 12.2 points and 7.0 rebounds per game in the regular season, shooting 43.8% from the field and 35.4% from long range. The Auburn product's scoring and rebounding numbers decreased in the playoffs, averaged 7.4 points and 3.9 rebounds per game. However, his shooting splits, 50% from the field and 45.5% from three, against the Golden State Warriors were far more impressive despite the first-round loss. Kuminga is fighting to cement his spot on the Warriors. The former lottery pick was productive in the Dubs' 117-93 Game 2 loss to the Timberwolves, efficiently netting 18 points. However, judging by his overall resume, he has work to do if he wants to avoid getting traded in the offseason. O'Keefe's trade could become realistic if Kuminga struggles the rest of the way. Did Steph Curry just hint he could sit out Warriors-Timberwolves series? It was reported on Wednesday that Curry is expected to miss at least 1 week after the MRI results determined a strain in his left hamstring. This means that the Warriors will be without the former back-to-back MVP for at least 2 more games, and possibly more. At this point, Curry has no other choice but to turn to his teammates. The Warriors will need to turn in a collective effort to try and fill the void he has left, and this is exactly what Curry is hoping for right now. There is a great vibe in our locker room in terms of them trying to hold the fort down, Curry said, via ESPN. We have a lot of confidence that we can still win the series, and guys step up no matter how it looks. And it's obviously a situation where you want to think positively and optimistically that we can win games and buy me some time to get back and stretch, hopefully have another series after this and be able to be in a position where I can get back out there safely where I'm not putting too much risk on the body if it's not ready. Based on his comments here, Curry appears to already have his sights set on the Western Conference Finals. Did he just hint at potentially sitting out the entire Wolves series in order to give his body more time to heal? It is worth noting that NBA insider Shams Charania reported on Friday that Curry now isn't expected to be back until Game 6 at the earliest, which makes the possibility of the 11-time All-Star being forced to miss the entire series even more plausible. While Curry is remaining optimistic here, it's a very big assumption that Golden State will even make it to the West Finals. Warriors still have a saving grace that could keep their playoff run alive. They could be hanging on by a thread. As the Golden State Warriors head back to the Bay Area with their second-round series against the Minnesota Timberwolves split at a game apiece, their outlook, admittedly, seems bleak. In the absence of Stephen Curry, who exited Game 1 with a hamstring strain and is expected to miss at least a week, the team looked haphazard on offense. They did not top 100 points in either Game 1 or 2, and a plethora of players have failed to show up so far in this series. Yet, their half-court defense has been the best aspect of the team throughout this young playoff run, and it looks like it could be their saving grace as they attempt to buy time for Curry's return. Warriors' defense could save their playoff run. The Warriors, both before and after their blockbuster acquisition of high-intensity forward Jimmy Butler, had one of the best defenses in the NBA. Throughout the course of the whole season, they posted a 111.0 defensive rating, good for 7th in the league. But, following the All-Star break, they posted a league-best 109.3 defensive rating. While Butler's acquisition helped this development, The defense was still anchored by Draymond Green who, even after moving to the center position upon Butler's arrival, dominated opposing players and helped direct many of the team's stellar defensive rotations. This strength became all-important in their grueling, 7-game series against the Houston Rockets and has yet again been on display against the Timberwolves. After holding Minnesota to just 88 points in Game 1, it seemed as though their opponent returned to form in Game 2, scoring 117 points and going 16-for-37 from beyond the arc. Yet, a large chunk of this scoring came on the 17 turnovers that Golden State allowed in that game. While their half-court defense continued to excel, they got burned on fast breaks and in transition. The Timberwolves, moreover, have struggled against zone defenses this season and, at times, are prone to haphazard ball movement and stagnant offensive rotation. The Warriors, moreover, have had their own offensive struggles. Across the 9 games they have played in the playoffs this season, Golden State has failed to break the 100-point threshold 4 times, and, with Curry out, the uphill battle to create offense will only continue to get steeper. As they attempt to prolong the series until Curry is able to return from his injury, Golden State will need to lean on Green and Butler to preserve this lone bright spot and capitalize on Minnesota's weaknesses. Can Jonathan Kuminga coexist with Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green? After going big and starting Quinton Post in Game 2 on Thursday, Kuminga got the start in the third quarter as the Warriors tried to find an alternative form of offense without injured superstar Stephen Curry. It was Kerr going against his own belief, which in fairness was backed by the regular season numbers that had Golden State possessing a -24.9 net rating in the 38 minutes. Butler, Kuminga, and Green shared the floor together. But the lineup with Jimmy, Jonathan, and Draymond doesn't fit real well, frankly. It just doesn't, Kerr told 95.7 The Game's Willard and Dibs last month. We need more spacing. We found other lineups that have clicked, and this is just part of the deal, being in the NBA, and you've got to adapt to whatever's happening with the team. That final comment may be the most important in regard to the team's current situation. The Butler, Kuminga, and Green trio may not conventionally work, but Curry's injury means Kerr and the Warriors have little choice but to adapt and hope it works within this scenario. That doesn't mean Kerr's spacing concerns suddenly disappear. After outscoring the Timberwolves by 39 from the three-point line in a Game 1 victory, Golden State shot just 9 of 32, 28.1%, from beyond the arc in their blowout Game 2 loss. How do the Warriors find enough shooting with Butler, Kuminga, and Green, particularly when Brandon Podziemski is just 5 of 22, 22.7%, from three-point range himself over the last 4 games? Perhaps more importantly, how do we expect Butler to activate into playoff Jimmy when Minnesota are going to be comfortable packing the paint and mid-range area? The one really optimistic aspect is that the trio worked together in Game 2, having held a 40.5 net rating in the 11 minutes they played together. That number dropped slightly across the course of their 21 minutes together in the playoffs, but it still sits at a healthy 16.2. The Warriors will need that to continue into Game 3 and beyond, with the Timberwolves set to enter as favorites despite the series switching back to Chase Center. While that is the short-term ambition, the effectiveness of the Butler, Kuminga, Green trio over the next few games could dictate how much the franchise is willing to pay the young forward as a restricted free agent in the offseason. Where is playoff Jimmy? Butler's hard fall against Houston in the Warriors' first-round series may still be ailing him. It was apparent after Game 1 that not only was the 35-year-old completely gassed, but he may still be hurting from his injury. Butler was basically limping around the court after the Warriors' win, still able to play but clearly hobbled. This is probably why we have yet to see playoff Jimmy in action. Butler is only averaging 18.4 points per game these playoffs, and has a playoff scoring high of 27 points. Compare this to Butler's last 2 postseason runs, and it is apparent that we are not dealing with the same player. Butler averaged 26.9 points per game in the 2023 playoffs and 27.4 the year before. The Warriors desperately need the Butler from the past in Games 3 and 4 of this series. Curry is expected to at least be out until Game 5, and if Golden State come out for Games 3 and 4 with the offensive effort they showed in Game 2, they will be down 3-1 very quickly. The Warriors need playoff Jimmy. Butler has made it clear that he loves to pass and distribute the ball to his teammates. That being said, that is not what Golden State need right now. Without Curry to help create openings, the offense is completely stuck in the mud, leaving Butler's isolation scoring ability as purpose the only way for them to get out of it. If Butler is able to create real pressure on the Timberwolves defense, things could start to open up for the Warriors. Golden State fans should be praying that playoff Jimmy can at least save the day one time before the much-awaited return of Curry. If he can't, Curry's return may be too late regardless.